Hey, this is Ciderhelm. This is a video where I'm going to be jungling as Amumu. This game does not start off terribly well. You'll get to see quite a few mistakes on my part and quite a few problems on our team's part. Now, this is my first game with smart casting. Quite a number of comments in my YouTube videos recommending that I get used to smart casting. If this has been around since the start of League of Legends or since December of last year, then I just flatly was not aware of it. But this is totally new to me. This is the first game that I'm going to be using smart casting. Okay, so I'm going, just like the last video, I'm going at 200% speed for anything that isn't a kill, death, or assist, just because that's going to be where most of the action is, so I'll keep this fairly quick. Going this jungling route, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going from the 4-pack here, and then I'm going to be going to the 3-pack of wolves and the 2-pack of golems, and then starting over. This is a safer jungling route than the other one, especially when you don't have people accounted for. It gets you started a little earlier. Now I start with a regrowth pendant here. That is normally what I will start with, just because I do like being able to get the Philosopher's Stone a little earlier than if I start with armor. But it's kind of up to you. There are clear advantages to armor, such as you're a little more survivable, or a little more survivable. And now I'm going to go down to the 2 golem pack here. Now our Vayne up top is having serious issues. Vayne was actually trying to get somebody from bot, our Garen or Kennen, to switch with them early on in this game. But they chose not to. I guess they're playing together. And so this is... Anyway, I'm going back to the base at this point. So Vayne's having serious problems, and I'm going to make a pretty big mistake here in helping Vayne out. Now Poppy is going after Vayne, as you can see on the minimap, coming up here. And Vayne is trying to stay in the lane at least a little bit. Now what I should have done is just get in that lane and hold it, and so Vayne could get back, and then maybe have somebody switch around on the team. Now Vayne is dead at this point, and here's another big problem I'm going to have here. I am chasing, but I don't have bandage toss yet, so I have no way of closing this gap. Now if I didn't turn around right here, as I'm doing right there, I probably could have killed Poppy with that tantrum as it came off cooldown, but I'm certain I would have died, and I didn't need to die, so that was a bad choice on my part. And I'm also set back a little bit in the jungle at this point, and here we go. I just bought 2. I bought a health potion and a mana potion. Problem, though, is that I bought 1 health potion, and I should have bought 2, especially since I'm behind in the jungle. But here we go, and you'll see why that matters in just a second. Okay, so I'm on the blue, taking the blue. Pretty standard stuff at this point. Now, our bottom lane is going to be having some problems throughout this, and I really don't see a lot of what's going on because I'm more focused on the top lane here. I'm taking out the 3 wolves. Okay, so against us we've got not Tristana, we've got Poppy. I keep saying Tristana, or thinking Tristana here. We've got Twisted Fate, who's going to be doing a lot of porting around through the game, trying to take our towers, which we're going to be pretty effective at stopping, but it's still very annoying. We've got their Garen, who's building tanky. Our Garen is building more based on damage. Probably a bad decision. They've got Cassiopeia, who's going to do pretty well on kills, to the detriment of their team. And we've also got an Ashe. And Ashe is always a dangerous character, especially if you're vulnerable to be kiting around. Okay, this is why the lack of a health potion, a second health potion, was bad. I didn't have the survivability to safely take those 2 golems at the very end. So I lost some experience, and I'm even a little further behind in the jungle now as a result. That is bad. Had I had 1 more health potion, I could have done it safely. I probably could have done it there, just because I do have the Philosopher's Stone. I probably could have killed it, but it would have been dangerous, and I wouldn't have liked to look like a moron there to the other team, or to my own team for that matter. Now you just saw me miss a bandage toss. That's me kind of used to the old non-smart casting, so I was ready to kind of queue it up, have it ready, so as soon as I was in range I'd grab it. But, you know, I think that's the only mistake I make with smart casting this game, is that I just throw a bandage toss early right there. Okay, I'm going bot here because I think that Garen's going upriver, but he turns around. And then I'm going to go try to get behind him, because I'm hoping he's gone behind their tower to teleport, but he hasn't. I could probably get in there and kill him, but it would probably cost my life. So I come over to the blue, and then all of a sudden I can't see anyone on the minimap. So I go ahead and back off the blue. So that was just total failure on 2 parts. Didn't get a gank bot, didn't get the blue, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to fail this one. He blinks out right as I cast, so he's safe there. Alright, so far, this is going pretty bad for my performance in this game. I haven't been able to contribute to a kill. I'm behind in the jungle. I don't even have my ult at this point. So this is just a bad situation. I mean, not everybody has their ult at this point, so that's probably okay, but it's not the best. Alright, so I'm going through a little more of the jungle here. And through this game, kind of Amumu's a very strong jungler. I'm out of mana here at this point, but I'm going back to base. And I'm buying a Heart of Gold. Now both of these over time, they will pay for themselves, and they do provide a little bit of survivability, and that's good. Okay, so I'm going to the bottom tower here. I'm probably not going to make it in time. I'm definitely not going to make it before that tower's down. And even if I get in there, even though I have my ult, it's going to be very, very dangerous, and I'm almost certainly going to die if I get in. So I let the tower go down, don't show myself, and now I'm going to head up towards middle. I'm expecting them to come through middle, and then I just placed a ward. Alright. Now this game just checks a bush with a bandage toss there. Now this game I'm playing with Morgana, who is a Vayne. Don't confuse that with Vayne, who's on our team, but the pug... Morgana is not a pug, the 3 others are. Okay. Now here's kind of a questionable decision. I'm not sure whether it was a good idea or not, but I felt like I couldn't turn around at this point, so I did chase Twisted Fate. I assumed I was going to die with both Garen and Cassiopeia there. So I went ahead and made sure Twisted Fate died. That probably is a good decision because he is more of a carry, so it's probably a good trade-off. But certainly, you know, you can argue whether that was a good idea or not to go ahead and tower dive him like that. Alright. So we're headed up mid here. There's not going to be a whole lot going around for a little while here. I'm going to go ahead and go for a blue buff here. Blue buff obviously is very, very important to Amumu. You know, some characters it's more important, but certainly if Amumu has blue buff, you can keep your Despair up pretty much indefinitely with that. So it's very, very helpful. So, and Amumu is very good against high health targets. Looks like we got some battle going on. Alright. So this is not going so well for our team. We just lost Vayne. Vayne is the person who is necessary to complete this. If you've seen chat at all at this point, this game is not going well for us. At this point, our Garen and our Kennen, both from bot, probably grouped together, have both said that they wanted to concede at 20. Now, we're not going to concede at 20 because things are going to look like they can turn around, and eventually they will. This game is going to be a victory. I don't mind giving that away. But it's not going to be an easy victory, and it does all come down to getting to the point where our Vayne is going to be able to carry the team, and that's kind of the nature of carries. They're usually a little weaker early game, and they usually become a lot stronger late game, and that's what's going to happen in this game. And certainly, I will just say, Amumu being in there helps a lot too. He really does control the fights quite a bit. And unfortunately, their tank, part of the team problem here is their Cassiopeia has been getting a lot of their kills, or has been doing pretty well. The Cassiopeia is not going to wind up, and I'm going to die here. Twisted Fate comes in, just finishes, seals the deal here. And that's kind of okay, as long as somebody else dies. There we go. Taking out their Ashe. But we're going to lose one more here. So that's not good. And we took out their Twisted Fate, I believe, if I saw that correctly. Yeah, so this game is going... That's actually a little better of a team fight. Not ideal, but it's a little bit better than it has been going so far. We've got their mid tower down pretty low. And their tank in this game is going to be Garen. That's not a good decision. Now, tank is kind of a misnomer. I know there have been some discussions on the League of Legends forums, and I've seen some pretty good, well-written articles on it. What is it? One about how tanks should not be really called tanks. They should be called initiators. And you know, I think that's a pretty well-written article. I do think it's a little misleading in the sense that the tanks have never been all about taunts and stuff, and people who had the wrong definition... another way of putting it, we do have a team fight going here, but it's not going to result in anything, so I'll keep rambling here about tanks. You know, my definition of tanking has always been controlling chaos. It's not about having taunts. It's not about taking hits. Although those things can be important to controlling chaos and to initiating and things like that. Really, the definition, regardless of game, not just in League of Legends or Heroes of Newerth or any MOBA game, but in MMOs as well, my definition has never been, do you have a taunt and do you have survivability? It's been, can you control a lot of things going on? Can you drive the direction of a game? And that's, so certainly by my definition of tank, which I've always thought is pretty good, but that's probably because it's mine. By my definition of tank, here we go. Ashe is going to die. Big mistake on her part trying to teleport there without knowing that there was a ward there. And then we're not going to get Well, we might get a little more out of this. Let's see what happens. Our Garen's coming in. And what's going to happen there? Garen is going to get away, but I'll miss my bandage toss on Garen, and I'll get it on Cassiopeia. And this will turn out okay for us, because Morgana's going to get the skill shot stun. And that's the end of Cassiopeia. And if that's not actually a stun, you can feel free to correct me. I'm sure somebody will. Alright. So headed back here. So anyway, back to the rambling about tanking. Tanking really has never been, by definition, like, are you Galio? Do you have a taunt? Are you Rammus? Do you have a taunt? Are you Shen? Do you have a taunt? It hasn't been like that in any game. So, by my definition, these are all tanks, and Garen is a pretty poor tank because he can't actually do much to keep you doing what he wants you to do. And he'll usually initiate fights for them. He is the one building survivability for them. That does not pay off for them. As always, you know, Amumu is really just a strong tank. And there are other strong tanks, but Amumu is very, very good for initiating. And he's just very, very good for surviving and making sure that he is a threat to the opponents. Now the other thing I'm going to be building towards in this game, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be building towards Rylai's Crystal Scepter. My item build isn't ideal so far. I've been kind of winging it, which is probably not the best thing, but I do have the aura for the team now. And I'm going to be building Rylai's, here we go, and I'm kind of looking at it right now. And this is going to be the first game I do this. Again, this is based on the YouTube comments, and it actually does make sense to go ahead and give this a try. Alright, we've got a team fight that is about to go on bot, but it looks like it might be shifting. And at this point, we don't see any of them, so the assumption for me is that they're going to be at mid. So, we come and cover mid. See if we can get some damage on Garen, but it's not going to matter too much. He is a tank. We don't want to chase. We don't want to spend too much time worrying about him. But this game is going pretty well at this point. Okay, we are at their tower. Kind of doing some poking. Poppies come in. And then Garen should come in pretty quick here. If he's going to be initiating... Oh no, we got the Ash Arrow on Kennen. And this is a fantastic ult from Morgana, followed up by Kennen and myself. This is a big turning point for us in this game. Now notice that we actually don't have many of their towers. In fact, we only have one of their towers, where they have two of ours. So we've defended decently, but they are ahead in that regard. And they are ahead on kills. So this game is not strongly going in our favor by any stretch of the imagination. But at this point, we do have Vayne who's going to be doing more damage, and then I'm going to just fall over dead here. Not the best... I'd like to blame that on Garen, say that maybe he shouldn't have been spinning and maybe he should have been auto-attacking, but really that was just a bad decision on my part. I should have gotten out. It wasn't really a decision. I wasn't paying attention to my health. That's not a good thing to do. So learn from my mistake and do better yourself. Okay, so this game, again, is not really going in our favor, but it can. We've got the Vayne who's getting creep kills, doing pretty well, still not just amazing, and we're worried about a push here. Twisted Fate's going to be moving around the map quite a bit. Now he actually, if I'm not mistaken, he does have teleport this game, so on top of being able to port, he also has teleport. He's going to try to harass me a little. I'm not too nervous about it, but I am nervous about people I don't see on the map. Morgana has generally been providing our wards. I should have provided more. Generally, Morgana will be providing wards in a lot of the games, as long as it's a Vayne playing. But in truth, when I play a tank, I should be providing more wards than I am. So, that's worth saying. Now, Twisted Fate has just used his ult. So, I don't want to give away where we are. I'm worried that he might still be there, but I don't think he would be. I'm taking blue buff here. Now, bottom might become an issue here, and I'm not exactly sure. Are we just going to lose bottom? Morgana gets in here. Twisted Fate's about to push mid, so I'm going to go cover mid. Now, Twisted Fate at this point has probably realized he's not going to kill me, and he's not going to push when I'm here. And that's good enough. I'm not going to chase too much, but I'm going to let him know that I'm not afraid of him. So I might get a bandage toss on him soon. He's going up top again to push, so I'm going to stop him from pushing here. He is being very mobile. He is trying to get our towers, get us pushed to the towers, hopefully get some damage on the towers. He's being more aggressive than he really ought to be. On the other hand, if he can see our other teammates, he knows he's fine. So if they are doing a better job warding than we are, then he actually is probably doing a very, very smart thing. But he is not effectively getting damage on these towers, so that's a good thing. And he's not really achieving much other than just moving between the lanes. Now here we go. We're all standing in the bush because at least one of them is going to come through here, and here it is, Garen. Knocking out Garen while he's not that important to the fight, it does mean they don't have a tank. They don't have somebody who is going to be able to initiate strongly. To a degree, they have Poppy, but at this point there's not going to be a team fight because they're smart enough to realize they don't want to get in a team fight. We're going to go ahead and do some damage, push down mid. Cassiopeia. Now Cassiopeia really is no longer much of a threat to us, and I'm not exactly sure how she's built or whether that's a champion deficiency. Cassiopeia is actually a champion that released immediately after. Oh, Kennen just stayed behind when we were going to move together here towards bot and through their jungle. Now Cassiopeia released basically as soon as I stopped playing. I think it was the last video that I made. I'm about to get a team fight here. I miss a bandage toss, which is fantastic, but I do get an ult on the two of them. We don't get a kill there. Cassiopeia goes down. And we're not going to get any other kills this go. We are going to lose. No, we're not. We're not. That's good. Alright. So he's going to get away. They're pretty fast. Let's cover our top tower here. Garen's playing it pretty dangerously going through their jungle, especially when we didn't see all of them. I'm going to go back, and I think I'm going to pick up the Crystal Scepter now. So, I'm not sold on the Crystal Scepter. It's not that big of a slow, at least if I'm reading it right. It's not that big of a slow, but it's a decent slow. Twisted Fate's going to be at mid here, and I'm going to go ahead and get in here and harass him off. I really don't want to lose this tower. I don't want to lose any tower, but this is a particularly dangerous one. And here's where I'm talking about harassing him, making sure that he knows that I'm not afraid of him, and that he can't actually kill me if he wants to get in there and, you know, kite me around or anything. That's not going to happen. Going through here, just in case they happen to be there, I wanted to wait, make sure I had a couple other people near me at the time that I went in there, but there's nothing there in the bush, so not that exciting. And this game is going to go kind of like this for a little bit. We are patrolling, we are looking for an opportunity to get into a fight, but we're not finding too many. So that's that's how a lot of games tend to go, and maybe part of it is just kind of playing in games with pugs. While this pug isn't that bad, this group isn't that bad, the games tend to go longer than they need to, and usually it's been my experience between Yvain and I, again, Yvain not Vayne, so Morgana and I, it's been our experience that pugs will not buy wards, and that's part of why it's more important for me to be buying more wards. Now, of course, you could say, well, ranked games are different, and I'm not playing a ranked game as usual, so I can't really say much, and I don't really care about the criticism. Although at some point we will play ranked games, I'm sure. Alright, just kind of trolling their jungle. There's Poppy. Alright, we are going to get into a fairly substantial team fight here. Ashe is my target. Ashe is the one who is most dangerous to us, and easiest to kill for that matter. Kennen's ahead of us. He's got his ult going. Cassiopeia is going to try to get away here. This is going to be a mistake. And I'm going to miss a bandage toss. A fairly substantial one. Just a little too trigger happy on it. I thought they'd get further, but it was just a bad shot. I don't think that would have hit even if they had kept, like if Twisted Fate had turned that corner and run that direction. I don't think he would have gotten there fast enough. So I'm pretty sure that was just a bad toss. Take it as it is. I do occasionally miss skill shots, and by occasionally I mean fairly frequently. That's kind of the nature of skill shots. So Garen's here. Garen's problem is that he has gotten ahead of his entire team. Well, actually that's not entirely true. Now Twisted Fate's here. I'm thinking I can survive him more than I can. He did, there was a deficiency in my health going into that, so that was just bad overall for us. And not much of a positive benefit out of that fight. Garen is not going to get away, or their Garen. Our Garen dies, their Garen gets away. Ashe just shot an arrow that I believe hit Vayne, who is already very low on health, but Vayne did live. Alright, so as Amumu at this point, I need to be in team fights. And I've said this before, but Amumu really needs to be in battles with other players. It's very, very essential. You want to initiate for those players when you can. Sometimes I don't initiate as soon as I probably should. I'm not the perfect player here. I don't initiate as soon as I should. That's certainly something I need to work on. I'm more cautious than probably I ought to be at times. On the other hand, I'm more cautious at times when we really need to be more cautious. Now covering top, because I am nervous about Twisted Fate. Now Twisted Fate just popped in bottom. I did not see that on the minimap. So I'm here at top, worried about Twisted Fate. There is going to be a team battle at bot, and this is going to be an important team battle, and it's not going to look good for our team because I am traveling all the way. Nobody is on the minimap. We had 2 at mid, we had 2 at bot. And then I'm going to come over to mid because we do have that top lane pushed out. I don't want to get too far out, and mid is the best place for me to be able to contribute to our team. But here's the team battle starting. Now, even though I'm not here, I did slow this down because this is an important team battle. We do have all 5 of them here. It is not going well for us, but here it is. This is why Vayne scaling and all hard carry scaling, this is how it's very, very good. It does not end well for them. Now, Twisted Fate did get away. Not much of a way I could have stopped that, although maybe if I had been a little better about it, but that was a good flash on his part. So we just killed 4 of them. So that team fight, I got there late. If I had gotten there earlier, that would have gone better. That said, it went fantastically for us. We're going to go ahead and push this tower. Twisted Fate's going to harass me. He thinks he can get away with it. And then eventually I'm going to change my mind. I do have the tower on me. I can survive the tower. And now he's down. So I'm going to cover here for Vayne, so Vayne doesn't get killed. Now Poppy's here. I don't want to get slammed into this wall too badly. I did not take the stun. And we're going to take her down. That's good. But I take an Ash Arrow, and this is the end of me. I cannot get out of that tower. There is no chance I was going to make it out of that. Had I not taken the Ash Arrow, it's probable I still would have died if they were quick on that. But that said, taking that Ash Arrow sealed my fate. Okay, so I'm back in the base now, and I'm just looking for items to buy. Things to be amazing with. I did buy the Magic Resist. The Magic Resist is not terribly important so much as, you know, I like the run speed and I like the regen. So that's why I went with that choice, but at this point in the game, I'm fairly certain that we are going to win the game because the last few team fights have gone heavily in our favor. You know, there's only going to be one more team fight in this game, and it's going to come in just a couple minutes here. It's not here yet. We're clearing through the jungle right now. This is another thing, you know, at this point, there's not really much inventory room, and I don't have elixirs, although I don't think I had money for elixirs when I was back in the base. So normally you'd see me buying elixirs at this point, and usually I'll buy elixirs just generally when I have the money because they are very, very powerful. They do have a big impact on the game and how it plays out. Another thing, and although you don't see it in this game, usually if I see an enemy team get a Baron buff, if they've taken Baron and we have not, that's when I will buy as many elixirs as I can, provided I can't afford something very important. So, yeah, that's just kind of the general thing. Twisted Fate sees us. They know where we are. Twisted Fate's top. He is not going to get an effective push on that top tower. That's a good thing. And we're going to come through here. We are not, I don't believe we're going to catch up with him. Now, I go here just in case he goes this direction, but he actually goes all the way through between our towers. That was unexpected. They did just place a ward there. Gonna go here, and we're just gonna do a little more pushing here. Probably could have sealed this game a little sooner, but we do want to play it safe. Alright, so bottom we've got Twisted Fate. Now Twisted Fate is going to... Nope, he's not. Vayne gets on Twisted Fate. That's the end of Twisted Fate. Them losing a player pretty much seals the deal for them. This is going to be a decisive point here. I'm going to go ahead and stay right up front so they can't come out. And teammates are going to be doing some poking here. That's good. Garen is going to get in here soon. He sees me. He's going to make the decision to get in here. And this is going to be the end. I'm watching for Ashe to get in here. My stun is off cooldown. Ashe is hit by my ult. Kennen's ulting. This is the end of the game for them. Poppy is going to die here as well. There is nothing that they can recover from here. So we're going to go ahead and take this tower. Now, I'm pretty low on health, so I'm not going to be able to take too much, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to run out, I'm going to survive, but here's a surrender. We've won the game. Pretty good turnaround from a pretty difficult game, early game, without too much action.